welcome to the football segment of American Sports News. I'm Herm, that's Colin, and yesterday was the first round of the 2015 NFL Draft, and this one wasn't the greatest draft.
No, I'd say it's very predictable. It's
Definitely.
basically just Todd McShay's mock draft, just legit. But
Came to life.
I mean, these players in the draft look promising like almost every year. But, you know, we'll see what pans out with these players and if any trades happen after these players have been drafted.
Pretty interesting. First two picks were the two reigning Heisman Trophy winners.
Correct.
First overall pick was Jameis Winston going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from FSU. Second overall pick, 2014 Heisman winner Marcus Mariota from Oregon going to the Tennessee Titans. Now, what do you think about these first two picks?
Like we've already covered, they're extremely predictable. We all knew they were going 1-2 no matter where Mariota went, whether it was Cleveland or Philly or San Diego or Tennessee, like he has been drafted. But I think number one was a gimme. I think it's a great pick for the Bucs. I wouldn't really call them like a steal or anything, like a winner, because I mean, yeah, the first pick, and it's the perfect guy for them. They need that franchise quarterback, and hopefully Winston can deliver and give it to them.
And what do you think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now with Mike Evans getting the ball thrown to him by Jameis Winston?
No, I think it's going to be great because he has now Vincent Jackson and Mike Evans on opposite sides. And he can just kind of lob that ball up to them. He has not a great offensive line, but it's pretty solid.
With the addition of...
Jahari Evans, I believe.
And no, the addition on the offensive line, Logan Mankins this offseason.
Right.
That was definitely big for the Buccaneers. And so people were saying that if the Buccaneers ever played a team like the Patriots last year, where Darrell Reeves could just shut down the number one receiver and then the rest of the team shut down, that's not necessarily the case for Tampa Bay, which is what a lot of people said, due to the fact that they only had Mike Evans, but they're forgetting about Vincent Jackson.
Exactly. I mean, Jackson kind of reminds me of a Brandon Marshall. A lot of people thought he'd be traded this offseason as he has a solid, or not solid, but it's a pretty large contract for his age. He's definitely not getting better, but he's still a huge receiver who can jump and catch the football. I think his role definitely diminished with the growth of Evans, who I really like, and I think he can be an all-pro type receiver.
Definitely.
But I think Jackson will be there for that veteran leadership, maybe kind of like a Reggie Wayne-esque.
Mm-hmm. And so with the Tennessee Titans, what do you think about Marcus Mariota? How do you think he's going to fit in with that Tennessee offense?
You see all these experts saying, oh, Oregon offense, I don't know how he's going to pan out, and I agree and disagree with that statement. I agree because you don't see the offense where you fake to the running back, run the fullback, and throw a pitch back. But I disagree with the fact I think this kid still has a ton of skill in him, and I think he can adjust to a pro offense. And I think he has the potential to end up being a top 10, maybe even higher quarterback.
And what do you think this is saying for the future of Zach Mettenberger?
His agent did say if they do take Mariota, his client would like to be either traded or released. But I don't know what he's going to think about that because I think he can challenge Mariota for the job.
You really think he could?
I do. I think Mariota, I don't see him. I think the difference between him and Winston, I think Winston's going to come in, be handed the starter spot, and I think he's going to execute and just do what he came here to do. But whereas Mariota is a little bit more raw, doesn't have as much skill. Like we said, the Oregon offense will have to adjust a little bit more. And I think you'll see some rough patches, but I do end up seeing him getting better in the future.
All right, so with the third pick overall in the draft, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Dante Fowler.
Correct.
The DN from Florida. And so I think this will actually be a great pick because the Jaguars, their offense is pretty set. Well, not pretty set,
no,
but...
I wouldn't say that
No,
yet.
but they have an up-and-coming quarterback in Blake Bortles. They have...
Marquise Lee,
and
Alan Hearns.
The off-season addition of Julius Thomas. So now, with this solid, almost more than solid DN in Dante Fowler, this Jaguars team is definitely going to have a big improvement.
Yeah,
for the
I mean,
last
I
few years.
totally forgot about that. Julius Thomas edition. And now that you mention that, I think that their passing game on offense, it won't be elite. It might be a notch below average, which is much better than they were last year.
Definitely.
And their GM said from day one, this whole rebuild plan was to start first with offensive tackle, and they drafted Luke Jokel 2 years ago. And then quarterback, Blake Bortles.
Obviously.
And then defensive end, Dante Fowler Jr.
And, this is Blake Bortles, not very far from a great rookie season. He was young, but he definitely has potential to be a successful quarterback.
There were definitely flashes.
He definitely has, especially now throwing to Julius Thomas at the tight end position. And Julius Thomas has the potential to be a good blocking tight end.
Correct. He's a big guy, but I'm still not sold on Thomas as being like an elite tight end. I think he's a very good tight end. Because I think when Peyton Manning's throwing to you, your stats are going to inflate, and I think a lot of his touchdowns were, this isn't a bad thing, but they were from 10 in yard line.
Exactly.
Versus, I don't think he can be like
like a
Jimmy Graham.
A Jimmy Graham type of
Greg
guy.
Olsen,
Greg
Rob
Olsen.
Gronkowski, where they can run down the seam and catch that big 15,
Julius Thomas is basically, he's a
red zone.
He's a
threat,
third and 10. He's a 3rd and 10 guy, and he's a red zone guy.
Exactly. He can get you that big catch, which is obviously one of the best things you can do. And in the red zone, I think it's going to be tough to stop him with his size.
And with the 4th overall pick, the Oakland Raiders, who also have
up-and-coming quarterback,
an up-and-coming quarterback in Derek Carr, who again, as like Blake Bortles, didn't have a very great rookie season. He's now throwing to Amari Cooper from Alabama.
Which, yeah, I'm a huge fan of this pick. Amari Cooper really reminds me of a Julio Jones. He doesn't have elite speed, and he doesn't have elite, it's basically a speed that is lacking, like Jones, but he has everything else is awesome.
Both of them also have very good
hands.
Very good hands and jumping ability.
Correct. Yeah, his highlights are route running ability, hands, like we said, jumping, and most importantly, he's very coachable. He's not like these diva receivers crying like for example, Des Bryant, ton of skill. I think he's the best receiver in the league when healthy, and when he's not crying.
And this will definitely be great. Amari Cooper and Derek Carr, I feel like they can only get good things from each other. They're just going to feed off each other.
Exactly.
Derek Carr is going to throw to Amari Cooper. That's going to get him built up. And then Amari Cooper is going to get good passes from Derek Carr. Now that's going to build Amari Cooper up, and that's just going to set him up to Oakland Raiders. They've got. You look at their roster. They've got a pretty good roster.
It's solid.
Maurice Jones-Drew, Derek Carr.
Maurice Jones-Drew actually just retired.
He retired?
Yes, he signed a one-day. I don't know if it's official yet, but he will sign a one-day contract if he hasn't yet with the Jaguars to retire as a Jaguar.
Oh, do they still have Darren McFadden?
They do, but
Darren McFadden has been a little on and off. Definitely.
Injury prone, to say the least.
Yeah. And they have Khalil Mack.
Ooh, yeah, that's another guy I think can be an
Khalil Mack has potential to be very good. I think the Raiders have a chance to be a good team. They just got to string it together. And 5th overall pick, the Washington Redskins draft Brandon Sheriff from Iowa, the offensive tackle. He is an outstanding offensive tackle.
Yeah.
He was in college. And I think he'll definitely fit in because this is exactly what the Redskins need. They need to rebuild their offensive line. Because once their offensive line gets rebuilt, that's setting things up for RG3 and Alfred Morris.
Yeah, and you did say RG3. We'll see. We'll see what he does. Because I don't know if he's going to be a starting quarterback. And
you think it could be Kirk Cousins?
I do believe that could be the case. But, this pick was I shouldn't say no-brainer, but it was there for them.
It's a great starting point.
Because RG3 gets hurt when he gets sacked, and now they have a good offensive.
And plus,
starting with him.
Plus, with a good offensive line, if he's playing right tackle, which I assume he will be, since the Redskins' offensive line has been lacking in the past, or even if he plays left tackle, that's just going to set things up for Alfred Morris to just that opens up the field. Because Alfred Morris, his struggle in the past has just been breaking through the line.
Exactly.
Because once he gets into open area, he's very dangerous.
He's an animal.
He is very dangerous. He's very, very fast, but it's just hard for him.
I wouldn't call him fast, actually. I think I see him. I don't know how you see him. I see him more as a power back, just kind of plowing through.
But
he's a good all-around back, let's put it that way.
If he gets out into the open field, he can definitely be dangerous.
Exactly.
It's just been hard for him, even though he in the past had been an explosive back. Like you said, it's just been hard for him to kind of get through.
Correct.
Get through the line with. It's been hard for him to get through the line with their offensive line being as poorly made as it was.
And I just wanna. We did do the top 5 like we planned, but I just want to go over some notable picks that I see as good and bad. So we'll just move up to number 7, or actually let's go 6, where the Jets took Leonard Williams, who's actually rated very highly. I don't know what I think about that pick because they have an abundant amount of defensive ends and tackles. Sheldon Richardson, Muhammad Wilkerson are 2 of the best in the game. Rumors have swirled about Muhammad Wilkerson getting traded after this pick, so I think that could be the case. It's an interesting pick, to say the least.
It could have, and that could have just been a move by the GM to try and make this pick, as he would rather have Vic Beasley over Muhammad, and then just try and trade him, try and get someone else in where they're lacking.
And just a couple more quick ones. Todd Gurley at 10. I don't like that pick, I think Trey Mason's development was huge, and I think that was a little bit of a reach.
Well, just a thing with this really quick is running backs typically, unless they're like stellar all through college, don't go in the first round.
Yes.
A lot.
And
it's a lot of quarterbacks, offensive linemen, and receivers.
Right. And I mean, the Rams said after Mariota, he was their highest player. He was the second highest. They really liked him. They think they see AP in him, which is a huge comparison. We'll see how the ACL holds up, but this kid could be a stud or he could be a dud.
And they'd been working him out for a while.
Correct. And lastly, I want to talk about our hometown Patriots getting Malcolm Brown at 32, which is my favorite pick of the draft. He was rated top 15. He was an All-American, and he led Texas in many categories, including tackles for loss. He lost Will Fork, you know that, and I think this guy could be better than Will Fork. I'm saying it right here, right now.
Wow.
The way he plays is just.
I haven't seen a whole lot of him, but Will Fork is definitely this kid coming in. He's definitely got some big shoes to fill with with trying to fill in for Will.
Exactly.
Fork. And even though the Patriots have not had a very stellar defense, even though the Patriots not a stellar defense in the past, it would be nice to have. Their defense was pretty good last year. Excuse me.
Evan.
And now they're trying to rebuild it back up with the loss of Darrelle Revis and the loss of Vince Wilfork. Sorry for that. All right. So I think that wraps it up.
I think that's a signal from Robbie telling us to wrap it up today. And that's all you got for the football segment from American Sports News. Sorry about this dysfunctional end, but we'll see you next time.
I'm Herm, that's Evan, and we got some second-round playoff hockey for you in the NHL. Now, 16 teams come down to 8. 4 in the East, 4 in the West.
The Eastern Division, it's pretty self-explanatory. We have a 1 seed going against a 2 seed, and the same 1-2, 1-2. And then the Western Division, it's a completely different story.
Yeah, we got a 3-4, a 3 versus 4, and a 1 versus 3 series. And in reality, it's really a 1 in the East. It's basically a 1 versus a 3 in Montreal and Tampa. It's actually a 2 versus 3, because in reality, Montreal was the 2 seed in the East, and the Tampa Bay Lightning were the 3 seed. So that's a 2-3.
That's really close.
But on the other hand, on the second series in the East, it's a 1 versus 6. The New York Rangers won the President's Trophy and won the East, and they won the President's Trophy and won the East, and they're playing the 6 seed Capitals, and so that'll be a pretty good series with the Capitals already winning Game 1 of that series.
Yep, that was a big win for them. They needed that, and they got to just keep it coming against the Rangers, who, if they're on their game, that's the best team in the league.
Definitely. That's why they are the President's Trophy winners, and they're just as good as they are. And in the West, we have the
Blackhawks playing the Minnesota Wild.
and
That's a 3-4 seed right there, so that's not as expected.
And the Wild just played incredible in the first round against the Blues. They just really outplayed them. They really roughed up Jake Allen, I think it is.
Yep,
The goalie
young
for the
goalie
Blues.
for the Blues.
Definitely, he got yanked in Game 6, and it just was all downhill from there for the Blues. And the Blues definitely weren't on top of their game against the Wild.
No, that was nothing like the Blues. The Minnesota Wild just dominated everything.
Definitely, and then the second series in the West is the Anaheim Ducks.
Playing the Calgary Flames, who I haven't seen in the playoffs in a long time.
I don't know if they've even made the playoffs in our lifetime. This could be the first time because the Flames are just usually bottom of the division, scraping the bottom of the barrel, looking for a draft pick, and the Anaheim Ducks definitely did overpower them in Game 1 with scoring 6 goals.
6-1.
That's
bad. Well, it is the Anaheim Ducks, one of the best teams, have been for the past 3 years.
Definitely.
But that's just an embarrassment for the Flames.
The Flames with solid goaltender Jonas Hiller.
Who just was traded.
Exactly,
from Anaheim. But Anaheim has a good goalie in Frederik Andersen.
Mm-hmm.
So both of those positions are...
But the Flames
good.
do have the up-and-coming Rookie of the Year, who will be the Rookie of the Year, Johnny Gaudreau, from Boston College. He has just been outstanding this year, making the All-Star team. He's just been playing out of his mind, and the Flames have just made a huge impact on the league this year. They're trying to break away from that last place kind of image that they've had in the past. Now
trying to get back.
Trying to get people to take them a little more seriously. And that's definitely good for the Flames. They're a great organization. They've been historically awesome in the past with Lanny McDonald way back when, winning the Stanley Cup for the Flames. They're definitely going to be. They're going to be a new team after this year. This is just going to get their confidence up and everything. And also
now for the Eastern, we have first round, our second round playing Montreal playing Tampa Bay. Like we said, a 2 and a 3.
Yeah, and these are two. It's Montreal, Tampa, and New York, Washington.
Yeah.
New York, Washington. That's gonna be a good series because Washington. This is a heated rivalry. Washington
Always.
is definitely very underrated this year, coming in at the 6th seed, and New York has all the hype, reigning Eastern Conference champions and President's Trophy winners coming in. So they're definitely expected to make the Eastern Conference Finals and make the Stanley Cup. Also, I think that I think definitely that the Capitals are going to give the Rangers a run for their money.
Already up in the series 1-0, and then if the Capitals keep it what they have going, then that Capital series they can take on the Rangers.
Definitely, and then at the other series we have Montreal, Tampa, and Tampa has been a powerhouse this year.
They have.
Last
year, it's the same thing ended up with them playing in the second round. Was second round? First round.
Playing Montreal,
but they didn't have their goalie, Ben Bishop. They had their backup, Anders Lindbach, who, let's just say, isn't one of the best goalies in the NHL.
Doesn't really realize he has 2 gloves. More just any shot, high, low, goes down to butterfly. Hopes for the best. But Ben Bishop is definitely one of the premier goalies in the league. He's just so fast. He's so strong.
He's big too. He's got that body, and he's not afraid to jump out. I'm not sure when it was, but the puck's coming in, and he skates out from it, jumps out, and tries to block the puck before I forget who the other team was. Tries to chip it over him.
And
no other goalie in NHL is going to do that.
Mm-mm.
He's that outgoing, and he has that much confidence in himself.
Mm-hmm. And he's so young and filled with so much talent. He's been a Vezina candidate. Last year he was injured, and Tampa Bay, they've been a pretty streaky team over the past few years.
Definitely.
They've been bottom of the East. They've been bottom of the East. They've been top of the playoff, playing first seed.
Yeah.
And making it to the Eastern Conference Finals back in 2011 against the Bruins, and the next year they were at the bottom of the division. And so, what are your predictions? Who are you taking in each series?
I think the Rangers aren't going to do it. I think it's going to be Washington playing Montreal in finals of the Eastern Division. And for the Western Division, I think it's going to be Anaheim playing the Minnesota Wild.
And that's ironic because I completely agree with you. That I think the Washington Capitals had just showed so much promise in that one, even just that one game against the Rangers. They've showed promise, and they can definitely take down the Rangers. The Tampa Bay Lightning, although they are a strong team, they've got a lot of raw talent.
Montreal.
They cannot hold up to Montreal. They can't get it past Carey Price.
Always one of the superior teams in the NHL, and it's going to stay that way for a long time.
Definitely. With just such a stacked lineup, it's almost not fair. And Minnesota, I think they have the legs to beat Chicago. And definitely give them a little more than a run for their money and just take that series.
Next level.
Definitely. Chicago has been good, but Minnesota is just on a tear right now. And
if they can keep it going, that's a team to look out for right now.
Yeah, so definitely keep your eyes on Minnesota, and and Anaheim. Although how much I want to see Calgary,
they can't hold up to Anaheim.
Anaheim's just such a powerhouse. Calgary, as
just
a low
brand
seed,
new team.
Yeah, but this will get them playoff experience, and that'll just be what they need to be successful. So I think that's all we have for Hockey Day on American Sports News. We'll see you next week.
Hello and welcome to American Sports News, the baseball segment, Crowding the Plate. I'm Robbie Carpentier along with Colin Cater and Herm. So we're here on May 1st. We've just seen a whole month of baseball go by, and we've got some great teams, some surprising teams, Astros, and some teams that are doing exactly what we expected them to be doing, the Red Sox. So Herm, what do you take on April?
April has been a big month for a couple players. Hanley Ramirez and Nelson Cruz, both with 10 home runs and 22 RBIs, leading those respective categories. Hanley has just been playing outstanding. He's had a bunch of multi-homer games. He's hitting a ton of RBIs. Same thing with Nelson Cruz. He's playing in Seattle with the deep porch.
No, but I mean, the thing about Hanley is when he's getting out, he's not striking out or softly grinding out to the pitcher. He's smacking the ball, whether
He's got
it's
the
into
WTP, the warning track power.
in his line drive percentage.
No, Herm, you can't. He's got the warning track power. Don't even start with me. He's had 10 home runs. He's got real power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but you gotta look at his line drive percentage. It's way up there. He's just smacking the ball.
Because every regular fan just looks at the line drive percentage. Herm, you look at that?
That's my favorite stat, actually.
You guys don't look at that?
Ground ball percentage. Have you looked at the left field fly ball to ground ball ratio that he has?
Have you looked at the clubhouse Gatorade to water ratio?
Barbecue to ranch sunflower seeds, flaky to snuff tobacco, big league chew. So what's the other one? Double bubble. I mean, talk about it.
All right. So Adrian
That was a
Gonzalez, despite having an incredible start to the season.
5 homers in 3 games.
Definitely cooled down a bit.
Oh, yeah.
He finished off April with 8 home runs, but he did have a 790 slugging percentage.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
That's incredibly high.
It's incredibly high.
That is incredibly high. Adrian Gonzalez has just been, he showed promise over his whole career.
Oh, when he burst onto the scenes with Santiago, he was just outstanding, off the charts. When we traded him with the Carl Crawford deal and the Josh Beckett
Carl
deal.
Crawford deal.
That was the one player that we all thought, hey, what are we doing?
Biggest loss.
I mean, it turned out to be okay for
I
the
don't
Red
wanna trade Carl
Sox.
Crawford.
Oh my God! All right, Herm, go ahead, just talk.
All right. So, Adrian Gonzalez is definitely, he's a great defensive first baseman, and he's got a ton of power in his bat, and he can hit. And
Perennial Gold Glove contender.
definitely. I'd call him top 3 defensive
Oh
first
yeah,
baseman.
He's up there.
I'd
He's
call
up
him
there.
top 1 maybe. You know,
Ooh.
up there around top 1. Anyway,
I'll go top 3. I don't know. Oh.
you know who's turned
Best.
himself into a very, very good defensive first baseman?
Who?
That was a catcher, Mike Napoli.
Mike Napoli.
He's turned himself, like, you don't notice anything he does. If you don't notice a player,
They're a heck of a player
No,
on
no, no, no.
defense. Well,
if you don't notice a player when he's in the field, good job, the player's doing well. I used this expression the other day when I was watching a baseball game. It was one of my brother's games, and the catcher, I noticed him every single play because it was a pass ball or something. And my mind was like, huh, that's weird because I don't normally notice the catcher. And I started realizing, hey, I only notice the catcher when he's making errors. You know what I mean?
the catcher's perfect
And
example.
same thing with a left fielder. You only notice a left fielder when he's playing left field like Manny or playing left field like Hanley.
Unless there is the exception who will jump over the fence and catch it.
Who?
No, like I'm saying, there's
I
players
mean-
like that.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typically, most of the time,
You
if
don't
you're,
wanna
if
be
you're
noticed.
noticing a player a lot,
Remember at the beginning of the season, or at the beginning when we first got Mike Napoli, he wasn't the best defensive first
no.
baseman.
Well, it can be.
Getting used to the
Yeah.
position, obviously, and now he is.
And you know what I always found cool about his transition? He played catcher, so he'd be squatting.
Yes.
He'd be squatting behind the plate before every
Bad
pitch.
knees, you'd have to think.
Yeah, but before every play at first base, he squats down almost into a catcher's position for a
He goes like
split
this.
second.
Yes,
and
that
comes
is
up,
correct.
Comes right back up.
Like almost like he's throwing a guy out, popping up. You know what I mean? Going in and
I like
popping
that.
up.
I think
almost.
it's just kind of
Interesting.
just something he retained from
like
catching.
PD when he does the jump from when he did gymnastics back in the NCAA's. Herm, continue.
So also leading the league in RBIs, as we said, is Hanley Ramirez and
Nelson Cruz.
Nelson Cruz.
Nelly Boomstick.
Huge offseason addition for Seattle. I think at the beginning of the season, I predicted them to win. I believe I either picked them to get to the AL Championship Series or maybe the World Series. I can't recall. But the reason was I think that addition of Nelson Cruz is huge for that lineup because now if pitchers are focusing on Cano, Cruz can hit some home runs. And then Seager's also there. You can't forget about him.
Definitely.
Now, what I think is interesting about that statement is, remember when Robinson Cano, he was a 25, 30 homer guy at second
Where
base?
was he playing, though? You have to
Yankee
look at
Stadium.
With
Then
the
he
short
went-
with the short porch and right.
Right, then he went to
Exactly.
Seattle. Seattle's one of the deepest, if not the deepest ballpark. That's why a lot of people were saying, Nelson Cruz, is he going to be able to keep up his home run numbers?
it. But he's
You look back at Baltimore, he was hitting 430 foot homers. They weren't
right,
299
barely
to
making
right
it
field.
over.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly.
So that's why I
That's
think
why they
he's
call him.
consistent Nelly Boomstick.
Boom.
Stick. Anyways, how about our guy there, Herm, Johnny C?
Um,
John Carlos Stanton.
yeah.
For those that aren't
John Carlos
in the
Stanton
club.
has been playing along with his whole team. Marlins have just been playing outstanding. They got off to a little slow start.
A little slow start. I'm pretty sure they were 1-5.
3 and 12 at one
3 and
point.
12, yeah.
They got off to a very slow start, but they've definitely picked things up.
They're amazing right now. They're the hottest team in the MLB, maybe besides the Astros, I think, right now.
Yeah, the Astros.
Or the Mets.
Mets.
A week back.
The Mets were on an 11-game winning streak. Now they're on like a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah.
So you can't say they're the hottest team in the MLB.
That's why I said the Mets a week back.
Right, but that's why I said the hottest team right now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
Yes.
sense.
Right.
All right.
But D. Gordon has been playing incredible, along with Christian Yelich, who just went on the 15-day.
Jose Fernandez with the 0 ERA. He's not playing.
Christian Yelich just went on the
But he was
15
playing
day.
well.
He was.
And 15 days is not nothing.
And
Crazy.
Christian Yelich, a reigning Gold Glove winner, out in left field.
Yep.
And also Marcelo Zuna, Ichiro.
I
He hit a
love
homer
seeing
last
him there,
night.
dude. He looks awesome there.
He rocks the orange.
No, it just, like, when's the last time, like, Ichiro when he was young,
With Seattle.
when he was young in Japan, generally, he's the only player with 4,000 professional hits.
That's unbelievable to think
He
about.
hit just about, I think, 1,300 in Japan, and then he came over here, and he's in the 3,000 hit club here. 4,000 professional hits. He's
How
got
many of
that
those are?
longevity.
How many of those are extra base hits, though?
Extra base?
Mhm.
They're not paying each road. All right. How about 60 of them are extra base hits a season? Because he'd hit the single and then he'd steal second base every single time back in his prime.
Yeah.
So when he got on first base, you know he was getting to second or even third.
He was almost like he had the speed and he could steal those bases.
You know
And
who
the
he
batting
reminds me of?
average? No, I don't know who you remind me.
Oh.
So you just shut him down like, no, don't.
Yeah.
No, I meant like, no, I don't know who you remind me of.
Jose Altuve.
Yeah, no.
Doesn't? No, he doesn't.
No, not at all.
No.
Why?
No, but I don't
Jose
think.
Altuve is a second baseman, bats
I-
righty, and then the other one's a outfielder that bats left.
Ignore
Also-
the position, though.
No, Ichiro. See, the thing is, there are certain things that maybe may resemble some people, but
There's nobody that
Ichiro's
is.
kind of a unique player.
True.
With his running swing, with his
Oh my God.
It's like a
lefty
soft.
slap,
It's like a
lefty
softball.
slap.
It's like a softball swing.
Well, because there's different things in
Different-
softball,
different
but
types.
there's
That's
one
why they
hitter
have
that's
plays.
called a lefty slap, and he's a lefty slap hitter,
Correct.
which is kind of unique.
And it's definitely worked out for him. Being in the 3,000.
All right, now we're gonna play a little game that we like to call Pretender or Contender. Today we're gonna cover offense, home runs, RBIs, stolen bases, and batting average. We're gonna give you a couple of the leaders, a couple of big names that are in contention, and we're gonna decide whether this guy's gonna be a pretender or a contender to win the home run title, or the title under
Yes.
this category. So let's start off with home runs. Let's get started. Right now, the league leader, Hanley Ramirez with Nelson Cruz, they both got 10. Mark Teixeira, 8. Low batting average as usual, but 8 homers.
He's definitely got a lot of power.
Adrian Gonzalez with 8. Joey Votto with 7. And following right behind, who's come on lately, he didn't hit a home run until later, Giancarlo Stanton, who's very hot right now.
All right, so Hanley Ramirez.
Anyway, so Hanley Ramirez calling. Pretender or contender to win the home run title?
Easy contender.
Well, you seemed a little indecisive about
At
that.
lunch, right? No, at lunch today when he was like, when me and you were like, oh, he's on track. He's like, no,
Well,
he's an injury-prone player.
Yeah, he said he's on track to hit 75 home runs.
No, he is. We're not saying he will.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
he's on
it
track. No
sounded
one's
like
gonna
at
hit
lunch.
75
That's what it
home
sounded like.
runs. No one's-
No, I said at lunch. I think
Except
he's
for-
going to be.
Except for Barry Bonds when he hit 77.
Steroids,
Yeah, I know, but
steroids,
nobody-
Steroids.
Actually, no.
Extreme steroids.
So I just don't think anyone's ever gonna hit 77. I don't know if anyone will ever hit 77 again.
Unless they're on steroids.
So,
okay.
all right. Dude, you actually have to stop.
All right, so Hanley Ramirez
Shut
is
down.
definitely a contender to win the home run title.
Like I said.
Yeah, but
Dude, he's so annoying.
he's just
Want a
showed
cookie?
just his swing has just been so smooth. He's just hitting home runs like it's nothing, and he's gonna keep that up.
That line drive
got, like, the-
percentage.
With like the one hand finish. Like,
Yeah.
Kind of like
His helmet
Poppy.
always falls off.
Because he's got the do-rag with the
Yeah.
baby dreads. Anyway, that's
He wears his red socks cap to hide his baby dreads.
The boy he was in New England is different now and then.
Because he was in New England and
bars. Flirts with all the girls while
Nelson
you're
Cruz.
talking.
All right, Rob, you, Hanley Ramirez.
He's from Boston.
He is from the Dominican.
Well, yeah, same. Kenny Chesney out there.
So for you,
Nelly
Hanley Ramirez.
Boomstick?
No, Hanley Ramirez for you. Pretender or contender?
I'm gonna go with contender for the contention, pretender for the first place. Because he's too injury prone to get first place. I think you will see him between 30, 35. I think Nelson Cruz.
That's exactly what I said.
No, it is.
No, you
I
said
said-
he's injury prone. You didn't apply like he did. That's actually a very good
Thank you.
prediction.
Oh my gosh. It's just
I-
What are you
I-
doing? What are you doing?
I'm trying
You just slapped my foot.
Stop. All right, so yeah, I definitely think that's actually a good prediction. I think that could actually happen.
I think that Nelson Cruz and Giancarlo Stanton are your two contenders.
I agree with that. Completely.
Herm, give me two guys to win.
I'd probably say Nelson Cruz and Giancarlo.
Nelly Boomstick and Johnny C. All right, let's move on.
Ribs.
All right,
Hey, how about we go to the ribs?
yeah, sure thing. Good idea, Herm. All right, RBIs. Right now,
Ribeye steaks.
I'm a good New York sirloin kind of guy, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm a ribeye, like a big ribeye, maybe a porterhouse kind of thing. Thick cut,
All right,
nice
all right.
and medium rare.
All right.
With the fat
Oh,
on the
medium
side.
rare. It's weak.
What do
All
you
right,
get?
all right, let's go.
Sorry, I don't need it rare.
No,
Hanley
eat it
Ra-
medium well.
No, Hanley
No,
Ramirez.
that's weak, dude. You don't have the raw.
Hanley Ramirez.
Oh.
Hanley
Hanley
Ramirez.
Ramirez on top with 22 RBIs. Nelson Cruz following with 21. My boy Johnny C.
No, Nelson Cruz has 22.
That's what I meant. Johnny C following in there with 21. Paul Goldschmidt up there with 20. Adam Jones hitting outstanding with 19.
Best player in the league. Right now.
He makes it so difficult.
Yeah. I'm
All
not
right.
doing basketball next. Nope, not doing
Okay,
it.
I'll just put
All right,
myself.
Miguel Cabrera with 17. He's not the top, but I think Miggy is a perennial RBI contender. I mean, he's so good with runners in scoring position.
Definitely.
Hanley, been outstanding so far. Nelson Cruz started great and continues great, very consistent so far. Giancarlo, he's a player of runs. You'll notice that. He'll go over 17 in a stretch and then go 8 for 10. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
With 3 homers.
Yeah.
Paulie Goldschmidt, just consistency.
I
And
love
Adam
I love
Jones,
Goldschmidt.
right now,
And Jones.
Adam Jones has got out to the hottest start in the MLB.
And you know the thing is, look at Nelson Cruz. He's topping the RBI charts and he's topping the home run charts. Going into and in last year's offseason, nobody really wanted this guy.
Well, because he took steroids.
Yeah, and then the Orioles picked him up. Look what that did for them. They won the AL East, and he just went off with the Orioles last year.
So you think he's a winner?
I think he is a winner because he won in Texas, he won in Baltimore.
You're right. Good. That's a great connection.
Because he in the
Yeah.
back in
Yeah, sure.
2010 and not 2012 but 2010 2011 when the Rangers went into back-to-back World Series,
He was there.
he was leading the
Hidden
team.
4.
He was leading the team?
No,
Hamilton.
had
Josh Hamilton was an MVP. He
Yeah,
was leading the
Josh Hamilton was leading the team, but Nelson, he's
He was
had
there.
that.
He's
He's
very
Speaking
good.
of
definitely
Josh
there.
Hamilton,
Josh Hamilton has just been traded from the Los Angeles Angels back to the Texas Rangers. And if I remember correctly, the first season that Josh Hamilton was with the Angels, he said he wanted to go to Los Angeles because it was more of a baseball town, and Texas wasn't. Look where he is now.
Texas. So are those words gonna come back to bite him?
So this is the thing.
Left toe.
This is the thing. Was he
yeah, go ahead.
was he saying coming back to Texas now? Is he saying that? Was he lying when he said that it's not a baseball town, or is he just going back for the money?
No. Every player, when they go somewhere, says, "Oh yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't wait. This place is a baseball town. The fans are great. No matter where you're going, to Kansas City or you're coming to Boston, all right, you're gonna say the baseball fans are great. You're gonna say it's a baseball town. We all know Kansas City has the lowest attendance in the league besides Tampa
Atlanta.
Bay.
Is up there.
So difficult.
And actually, now Baltimore after the zero attendance game.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious because there's riots in the street. That's good connection.
Yeah, Baltimore had a 0 attendance game this year. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah. Anyways, where was I? Wait, what was I saying?
No, Josh Hamilton.
Right, like Boston, most sellout crowd. Kansas City, not. No matter what, you're gonna say, yeah, great baseball town. So I think those are just words maybe fed to him by the general manager when he went to the.
And, you know, a bunch of Rangers fans, the first time Josh Hamilton came back in Texas, they all had newspapers. And on the inside sheet of the newspaper, it said baseball town. So they just held up their newspapers, and then he came out to bat, they turned around, and they started chanting, baseball town. And you should have seen the look on his face.
Anyways, Nelson Cruz, pretender or contender for the RBIs?
Pretender.
Why?
Ooh.
Because I think he's going to hit, I think his average is going to get lower. I think he's going to hit more home runs versus extra base hits. And I think he's going to hit,
But if we're talking about RBIs, we're not talking
Yes.
about average.
yes, I know.
So you think he's gonna be
Well, with
lower
runners in scoring position, he doesn't need extra base hits.
Correct. But
True
I
that,
think,
man.
but I mean, most home runs can be 1 or 2 run shots.
Well,
Herm?
yeah, but look at who's batting in front of him. Robinson Cano,
Yep.
Kyle Seager.
Yep. But I think there's better people on this list that will,
Who's their
that
leadoff
are
hitter?
better overall hitter.
Whatever.
Leadoff hitter's got a good OBP, I know that.
Yeah, you're right.
And he's batting fourth.
Yep.
He's going to pick up a lot of RBIs with Robinson Cano getting on base,
Yep.
Kyle Seager getting on base. All he needs
Yeah,
is
but there's
just
still
a single
better
to get
hitters
in.
in this category who I think.
All right,
Are better
we're all
all-around
entitled
hitters.
to our opinions, no matter how wrong they are. Anyways, John Carlos Stanton and Hanley Ramirez, pretenders and contenders, and then I want you to give me 2 guys to watch out for, and your top 2 are.
Hanley, I think he's not a. I think he's going to be in contention, but I do not think he'll get 1 or 2. I think he'll be in the 3-4 range, because I see him as a better
fair.
all-around
Agreeable.
hitter than Cruz. Like as I said, his line drive percentage very high, but he'll get a lot of those extra base
And
hits
his
and home
ball
runs.
percentage back to the third baseman is very low.
But and you said John Carlos Stanton also.
Yeah. Just tell me what you think about him.
I think he's a very strong contender.
Oh yeah. So I want you to give me your top 2 for RBI guys.
Adam Jones and John Carlos Stanton.
Adam Jones and Johnny C. Not bad.
All right,
Hermie McDermott,
my 2 guys to watch out for is definitely John Carlos Stanton,
of course.
just because of his raw power and just his ability to hit. But
And
also
the guys in front of him have been getting on
exactly
base.
Right.
Ichiro,
D. Gordon.
D.
great
Gordon.
leadoff hit. Is he even hitting leadoff?
Who, Ichiro?
D?
Yeah.
I think
Oh.
he's hitting like 8 or 9.
He is.
Yeah, he's low because he's not the same
He's
Ichiro.
not the same Ichiro. He's just there. He's there as the veteran leadership to corral this
And
team.
even if he's hitting like the 8-9,
He can still get on
John
base.
Carlos can still drive him in.
Yeah, you're right, 100%.
Just the guys John Carlos playing with, definitely a RBI contender.
Nelson
And
Cruz, pretender, contender.
Nelson Cruz, I'm gonna call him a contender.
Good.
Not necessarily a winner, just definitely
I see
definitely
him
gonna
in
be
maybe
in
the
contention.
4 or 5.
Yeah. I just want to correct myself. I think actually instead of Jones, I'm going to go with Miguel Cabrera.
I was gonna.
Cabrera's always someone you
He's
have
always
to watch
there.
out for.
I mean,
Yeah.
Adam Jones, great ball player, but Cabrera, the Triple Crown, he's won multiple RBI
And
titles.
the way he's hitting
the
this
history,
year.
the way he's hitting already this year, and he's picked it up.
Exactly.
All right, so let's move over to the
All
stolen
right,
base
you
category.
don't ask me. It's okay.
All right, Rob, who do you think is gonna be there for RBIs? So you
Johnny
asked.
C. and
You're going to agree with me and say Miguel.
John Carlo and Miguel. I was going to, but I wanted to do something different. But you're right. All right, let's move on to what did you say? Stolen bases.
Stolen base.
All right, stolen bases. Number 1, we got Billy
Billy.
Hamilton. Number 2, we got
D.
Jose Altuve.
Oh, I read it wrong.
And then tied for 3, we have Ellsbury and D. Gordon. And then he's not 4th because we have a couple of guys with 7. But Rajay Davis is the fast guy, so I threw him up there. He's got 6. Colin, who's going to win this category? Who's going to win it?
Billy Hamilton. It's just hard to disagree with his speed, and he can get on base. And as soon as he gets on base, he's gonna steal.
You
base.
act like he's the easy guy.
I
to
do
win it.
because I believe he is.
Altuve was the #1 stolen base guy last year.
Okay, and I still think Billy Hamilton's progressed, and I see him getting faster.
On base more.
And every time he's on base, it's almost an automatic stolen.
Like we were
base.
talking about with Ichiro. Back in the day.
I think that you definitely can't rule out D. Gordon because D. Gordon last
That's
year
a good one,
almost
yeah.
won the National League stolen base leader, but he just had Billy Hamilton ahead of him because Billy Hamilton is just so fast. He's got more. I think Billy Hamilton has got more raw speed than D. Gordon,
Right.
but I think D. Gordon might just be almost. I don't know if I could even say this, but almost a smarter,
better base runner.
Yeah, almost.
No,
like
you're right.
A smarter base.
You're
Base-
100% right.
Base stealer, not even necessarily a base runner. Base
Maybe
stealer.
like the higher percentage takes the better bases when it count.
Yeah.
So my top 2 guys are going to be Billy Hamilton, D. Gordon, and then I think falling
Those
in
are
at
my
number
top two.
3 is going to be Altuve.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yes.
But
I think
Raj,
those are your top 3.
I
We all
don't-
agree?
Yeah. I don't know how Ellsbury's going to
Yeah,
do towards
he's
the end
getting a
of the
little
year.
bit older.
He's older, and he's very,
Very.
very
Very.
injury
Yep.
Prone. Yeah, you didn't
Prone.
prone me, but whatever.
Sorry, I was
But
just
Rajai
timing.
Davis,
We usually finish each other's
he's-
sentences. Just a thing.
Rajai Davis has definitely got some raw speed. He's been
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
when
yeah,
he was playing
definitely.
with when he was playing with he played with Toronto. He played with Oakland
And he's with Detroit, and you know that he can steal bases. 'Cause they don't have a whole lot of speed in that lineup, so they're looking for him to take extra bases to get
But-
him in scoring position for.
they're in that
Vicky
Detroit
Mart
lineup. That
and
Detroit lineup's dangerous
Prince.
because they have that those 2 guys. They're like
V.
best-
Martin Prince.
No, those 2 guys who Prince is on.
Oh, I meant V. Mart and Miggy.
Yeah, but there are those 2 guys who can steal bases. Really, honestly, Nick Castellanos and JD Martinez. They can be.
Well, and Rajai.
Yeah, Rajai.
And I think Kinzo can move a little well.
he can.
A little bit.
He can move a little bit. I'd see him stealing like 20.
Austin Jackson. That's the guy.
Austin
Oh,
Jackson.
He's the guy from Seattle. Because I was thinking, wait, didn't they used to have a speedster center fielder?
Right.
Austin Jackson, then it clicked, and I went to Seattle. You're right. All right, so I think we all agree in our maybe top 3.
Yep.
Let's go to batting average leaders. Right now it's D. Gordon.
Yeah, D. Gordon's hitting. Oops, my mic.
I'll take this when you finish that. D. Gordon's hitting 409. I don't see him even coming close to the batting average leaders, not even close. But I think he's going to be maybe a 280 guy, 290.
I would see him. I don't know. I see
I
him
think
a little bit above
he can peak
300.
3. I think he can peak 3.
That's a very good hitter. But I don't think it's below him. I think he has a chance.
And D. Gordon, I wouldn't necessarily call him. He doesn't get a lot of bloop hits, but he can.
He's a soft hitter, sort of.
He's a softer hitter, and since Marlin Park, it's kind of an advantage for
Like
him.
Ichiro.
Since it's deep, the fielders are playing a little more back, and there's more space between the infielders and outfielders. So that's his.
And there's
His
bigger
forte.
gaps. It's very wide.
Right.
Very wide outfield if you count like the depth. That
Yeah.
you need more ground to cover, more gaps, and more extra bases for him.
That's an advantage for him.
No, but
that'll definitely help his
The
average.
thing about Gordon is you always see averages and you say, whoa, he's hitting 330. Well, is it a soft 330 or like a solid 330?
You're right.
There's
You're-
always that
You're 100% right there, Colin. So, Herm, give me your top 2 and give me a guy to watch out for. I want top 2, guy to watch out for, and who you think is going to win it.
Ooh, top 2. I'll probably.
Just take a look.
I think you definitely put Jose Altuve up there.
Yeah.
Because he
good
just
auto.
gets so many base hits. And this one's tough, but I'll probably say Miggy.
Yeah, that's very good. And now, to win it,
To win it, Altuve.
and someone to watch out for.
Someone to watch out for who I don't even know if they'll be in contention, but could be someone to watch out for, is Mark Trumbo.
Whoa.
No, he's not an average guy.
He's not an average
He's
guy.
not
can
a,
be.
he's a
I
home
think-
run guy.
I think he has the potential to be in Arizona.
That's interesting.
That's a very interesting. That's a very interesting pick. Do I agree with
Life
it?
crisis.
Absolutely. Absolutely not. Life crisis. But I think that's bold predictions. That's what we're
Yeah,
all about.
exactly.
I've just seen some footage of him.
Flashes.
I've just seen him and I just think he's
He's a
got
player who
potential.
No,
runs.
that's
You're
fine.
right, Colin. Flashes, he'll go off the charts.
Exactly.
And I'm not necessarily saying he'll be anywhere near the top. I just think he'll be
Someone
better,
to watch out for.
better
Maybe
than usual.
300.
Right.
Yeah, I think he'll peak 300 at least. Maybe be around 315.
Interesting.
That's very high. That is very high.
Yeah,
That's
I
very
don't know.
high. I
I've
think
never
he
been
can do
high
it.
on Trumbo, but all right.
And who knows? He could be batting 189 by the end of the year.
So, you're right. No, you're 100% right. So give me home run guys to watch out for. I forgot to name him. Jose Bautista. You just gotta
Oh
watch out
yeah,
for him.
and
Show his
Encarnacion's teammate is always there
I think
too.
Jose Bautista.
Batting average.
Batting average leaders. Colin, give me two guys. Your top two.
I'm gonna agree with Herm on this one. I say Cabrera, Altuve, and Altuve winning. I have somebody
Alright, that's your winner.
different to watch out for. Matt Halliday.
That's actually not bad.
That's not bad.
That is a
Pretty
name,
well.
but right now in the MLB, you don't hear about Halliday right now because he's not that all-star that he used to be, but he's always hanging around
Experienced
playing
vet.
great baseball.
No, you're 100%. I agree with you there. You're very.
Because he had such a stellar beginning to his career, and now he's playing a little average, sub-average.
But he's still playing good baseball.
Exactly. So now he's flying under the radar because of what he started his career with. Also, I think that Halliday's been a consistent player, and
Exactly.
he just flies under the radar. I don't know how well he's going to hit this year, but I think
Okay.
that's a solid prediction.
Yeah, Rob, you?
All right, so I'm gonna give you my top two. I think you got to go with Altuve, and who's your guy? Your top
We
two?
both said Miggy.
Yeah. I want to be different, but I'm gonna say yes. And then I think my guy to watch out for is Adam Jones.
I knew that was
Janais. Adam Janais. And here's why. He's just an all-around baseball player that knows when to lay down a bunt, knows when to steal, knows when to play defense, knows when
He's old school.
Yeah.
he's there to deliver for his team, no matter whether it's at the plate, whether it's stealing a base, whether it's hitting a sac fly and taking away from your average. You know what I mean?
Yes, he
does.
Hitting a
That's
sac
the team.
ground ball to the right
the team.
field, to the right side. If it's a sac ground ball to the right side with a run on third, that run scores. Whether it's popping the ball up to, whether it's hitting the ball to the right side when there's a guy on second base and no outs because they're trying to advance him. No matter what he does, what's best for his team.
You know, and I went to a Sox-Orioles game, and Adam Jones isn't any little guy. He is huge. He's not just tall, but he's like a muscular all-around guy who can just play the game.
So is Giancarlo.
All right, so that's just about it for the baseball segment of American Sports News. But just one thing I'd like to throw in before
Yeah,
we
sure,
go.
go ahead.
In the home run category,
Sure thing.
someone who, again, like my batting average prediction, won't necessarily. Won't necessarily. Well, he could be, but not necessarily going to be in contention. But someone to watch out for, Caleb Joseph, Baltimore,
catcher?
from the Baltimore.
That is bold, but
For
I like
home
it.
runs, that's bold, but I don't like it. I disagree a lot. He's a catcher. He's not going to win the home run title.
Yeah, I disagree
but
completely,
that's why
it's
I
bold.
just said I don't think he'll be even necessarily in
But
contention.
it's bold.
But I think he's someone to watch out for.
So how many homers are we thinking?
20?
15 to 20? Are we thinking 20, 25? Or are you thinking 25 to 30? Or are we thinking 10 to 15?
I'm thinking right around 20 to 25.
Interesting. I think that's high.
And who
high.
did I say would hit 20 and 25? And I've been bragging about it all year.
Alexander Bogarts.
Right, and I think that's someone you still got to watch out for, even though he's gotten off to a fairly slow start.
I'd say mediocre.
No, I mean in the home run department.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example.
But you know
of
what
a
you
guy.
haven't noticed this year that you noticed last year with Alexander?
What
He
did you
hits the
notice?
ball.
Fielding. He was all errors last year. And you know who was not all errors last year and you're noticing this year? Ian Desmond.
That's true.
He's playing terrible.
And I just want to get back to
Terrible.
my soft thing.
Absolutely
Alexander Bogart's hitting a soft 280s, I think. He's hitting it's just
Soft, he hits the ball hard.
Gosh, I got that line drive percentage.
2 years ago, I went to an opening day, and Alexander Bogarts. I saw a home run, and I saw 3 home runs. I saw one Red Sox homer and 2 other team homers. I forget who we were playing. Maybe Phillies.
Doesn't
Whatever,
matter.
it doesn't matter. Alexander Bogarts hit the hardest ball that night, and since then, I think he hits one of the hardest balls in the league. I think Chris Carter hits the ball really hard,
Very hard.
and I think that Nelly Boomstick hits the ball hard.
Handler.
And then I think Giancarlo Stanton hits the ball. He hits the ball
That's
the hardest.
accurate.
hard.
Yes.
Anyways,
That's all we got.
Any other players you want to just throw in any categories before
Bryce
we leave?
Harper. Bryce Harper.
In what
Everything.
category?
Except
Everything?
for stolen bases.
And RBIs. I don't think he's in contention for RBIs.
I
but
say
think
homers
batting
and
average.
RBIs.
I think batting average and homers.
I think that's all we got for rankings.
Yeah, so I'm Robbie Carpentier.
I'm Herm.
Colin Gator.
Thanks for watching. Oh, before we leave. Colin and I, remember we challenged each other to the one-on-one
That will
game?
be coming soon.
That's coming next week. Colin and I challenge each other to a
And
one-on-one.
should we give our backgrounds for to see the
Yes.
extreme disadvantage you have?
Robbie Carpentier,
Second year playing basketball.
second year playing basketball.
Huh.
4'10", whopping 90 pounds. And
Oh, gosh.
Colin Cater, 5'2",
5'4".
a whopping
I'm 5'4".
81 pounds. And
No, I'm 5'4".
maybe 3.
100 pounds. Been playing basketball since second grade.
And Colin, all right, shoots really well. I don't. And
I can score the ball and like this. Okay.
anyways, so comment on YouTube who you think's gonna win. All right.
Please, please, please.
Comment me. Herm's gonna be the commentator, and he's
Yeah.
gonna videotape it.
Oh,
All right,
gosh.
and we're gonna have a live audience there to witness it.
Yep.
So we're doing a raffle. If you view the Instagram, if you view our show, please comment that you want to come, and we'll let you come.
All right.
It
That's all we
depends
got.
what state you live in, though.
Yeah, you
We're
gotta
not-
live in Massachusetts, and you can't be.
No location.
They know they know we're from North Andover. It says North Andover Cam right here in YouTube. Look it right here. It says North Andover Cam.
All right,
well,
that's all we got for you today.
we're not paying for any plane tickets.
I'm Robert Pools, and thanks for watching.
See you next time. Hello, welcome to the basketball segment of American Sport News. I'm Colin, I'm just going to be doing this by myself today. So right now in the NBA, we have one of my favorite times of the year, the first round of the NBA playoffs. Although the series may not be as intense as the later rounds will be, it's really fun to see all these teams, whether it's first-year teams or teams that have come here for 10 years straight, start out their playoffs and see how they do. Alright, so I'm going to cover both conferences in the series that are either currently going on or have already finished. So first in the East, we have Atlanta Hawks winning 3 games against the Nets who have 2. This series is a big surprise for me because I think the Hawks may have been exposed this series, as in the regular season, second best team in the NBA. Excellent record, looked like a good all-around team, which is becoming the new trend in the NBA, just having a good team, not just a star. And they're just getting a little bit exposed by these Nets, who have been playing awesome behind the hand of Brook Lopez, who could be a free agent this offseason and is looking like an offensive rebounding stud that he was supposed to be as soon as he got drafted out of college. Next, the Cavs had a clean sweep of our hometown Celtics, 4-0. It was basically they rolled through with ease, didn't seem like there was any issues. I mean, Kyrie and LeBron were mostly leading the team by just dominating. In Game 2, they had all of the Cavs' total points in the fourth quarter. It was just it wasn't really, I wouldn't call it a massacre, but it looked like there was no sign of the Cavs getting scared. The Celtics did play a tough series. I liked the way they played, especially played Jay Crowder and Avery Bradley on defense. They hustled hard. Although they're not scoring 20 points a game, they're doing the best they can to give their team the win, and I think they're just going to get better over the years that come. Also, the Celtics, I believe, showed off their new head coach, Brad Stevens. He looks like he's up and coming, I think can be one of the best head coaches in the next 5 years. And next is the Bulls and the Bucks. It was a surprise when the Bulls are up 3-0 in the series, and the Bucks stormed through and won 2 games behind Michael Carter-Williams, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Chris Middleton. The last game was a massacre, to say the least. At one point, the Bulls were up by 42 points. That's right, 42. What we saw in this series, which is great for not only Bulls fans, but the entire NBA, was Derrick Rose coming back to form. It was not only just going to the rim and shooting jump shots, but he looked like he was into it. He wasn't scared to get hurt. He was playing excellent defense, jumping after loose balls, and on that fast break, he looked like the old Derrick Rose, who nobody could stop when he's trying to get to the rim. Finally, we have, I believe, one of the most surprising series in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Wizards having a clean sweep of the Raptors. The Wizards were the lower seed, the 5 and the 4, but it was not that big of a difference. But those series usually tend to go 6-7 games. The Wizards just swept through them. It was unbelievable. Paul Pierce really showed why he came there, and he's really. It looks like the Raptors' kryptonite is last year at the Nets. He did the same thing by hitting clutch shots game after game and just sealing the victory for the Nets last year. And he is doing the same thing for the Wizards this year. And I think as these playoffs go, he's going to be just as clutch and a very impact player. Also, for the Wizards, you've been seeing the development of John Wall, who I think can be an MVP candidate next year. Not just an All-Pro, not just an All-Star, an MVP candidate. The way he gets to the rim with explosiveness like we've never seen. The size he has, he's 6'4". And also, his passing ability is amazing. He can just dish the ball on the wing to Bradley Beal for threes. He can dump it down to Marcin Gortat in the paint, or he can just drive to the rim, dump it to Nene for that easy layup. For the Raptors, it's been 2 straight years of them looking like a fluffy, cute regular season team. They look really nice in the regular season, puffed up record, but really when it comes to playoff time, the grit and grind, they cannot handle it. Kyle Lowry is a bull, like literally. He has the size and he just plows through. But he is extremely inconsistent. Some games he can score 35, some games he can score 5. Also, I do like the development of DeMar DeRozan, who I think is also an up-and-coming player and may be traded if he doesn't like it, and he could be an all-star type player on a different team. Let's move on to the West. So we have the Golden State Warriors, I wouldn't say a clean sweep massacre, but they really just handed the series to the Pelicans. We saw in Game 3, the Pelicans were really dominating the game for the most part, but once again, Steph Curry came through. He just completely dominated the game by having in the 30s or 40s points. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that shot at the end is unforgettable. One of the best clutch shots in playoff history. I think they were down 32 at one point. Curry led the comeback. He dished the ball to all of their shooters, passed it to everybody on the team who could play, which is everybody. And at the end, he took it upon himself to win the game by hitting an unbelievable three in the corner, guarded by 6'11" Anthony Davis. Curry had the shot with his eyes closed, Davis in his hand, clean swish three-pointer. Then that is why I say Stephen Curry is the best player in the game. That's right, I would take him over LeBron. I don't care about LeBron's size or his leadership. I think Curry is unbelievable. He can get to the rim, shoot the basketball, distribute the basketball, and his defense is extremely underrated. For the Pelicans, though, I really like Anthony Davis as a leader. He can really corral that team together and make them just an up-and-coming team who I can see contending in the West if they add a piece. Next is the Rockets and the Mavs. At the beginning of the playoffs, I thought the Mavs could pull an upset here as I didn't know how Dwight Howard would play. I was proved wrong as Howard just dominated the series looking like he did with the Magic. He was scoring high 20s and high teens for rebound. High 20s for points and high teens for rebounds. He was slamming the ball home, swatting shots into the crowd, and catching alley-oops with ease. But Howard was the main key of the series, but I can't call him underrated, but there's always James Harden, who you cannot stop. I see he's the best scorer in the game since Kobe Bryant in his prime. He was just getting to the rim, shooting the ball, doing whatever he wanted, which is just unbelievable to think about. Nobody can stop him in my eyes. And for the Mavs, Rondo, I think that was a bad trade. He messed up their chemistry. He got in his players' faces. He disagreed with his coach. And after Game 2, they couldn't handle him. They just gave him a fake injury, and look what happened. The Mavs actually won a game when they sat him. No coincidence there in my eyes. Now to my favorite series of the playoffs. Clippers versus Spurs. Right now it's not just 3-3. Game 7 is tonight. We're going to see, I think, the best first-round matchup in recent memory. You have the I can't call them up-and-coming anymore, actually. The Clippers are now a real NBA team who has to win in order to keep their legacy. They have the second-best point guard in the game in Chris Paul, who just throw in lobs to Blake Griffin. And speaking of Blake Griffin, I think he's the best power forward right now in the game, who has that mid-range jump shot, he can post up, and he can slam the basketball in the hoop. And you can't, although the Clippers have the flash factor, the Spurs are always there. Led by Coach Greg Popovich, this team is never a sleeper team. Now they have young Kawhi Leonard, winning Defensive Player of the Year, and now, I believe, the new face of the franchise in a few years. They are extremely dangerous. Since day one, I thought they'd win the finals. I'm not leaving that. Tim Duncan's still playing like Tim Duncan. Parker and Kawhi Leonard is scoring, playing defense, hustling, just being a great overall player. Finally, in the West, the Grizzlies beat the Trailblazers 4-1. I say the Grizzlies are the most underrated team in the NBA. Nobody talks about them. They don't have a flash factor. They play old school. Zach Randolph pushes his elbows into other guys in the post and hits that left-handed hook. Gasol just plays. He doesn't swat the ball to the other side of the court. He plays hands up, and he just stops the other big man. And then, of course, there's Mike Conley, who is the most underrated player in the NBA. He can get to the rim, he can shoot, he can distribute the ball, and he plays excellent defense. I can see this team, if not the Spurs, who I like, I could see this team upsetting the Warriors to get to the finals. And finally, I just want to, although I'm done with the playoffs, I just want to do a few rumors that have been swirling around as the offseason is coming up. The Celtics, always having rumors surrounding them, whether it was Rondo a few years ago, Garnett, Pierce trading them, but now they are going for the big fish. They're going for Kevin Love, LaMarcus Aldridge, and rumor has they're trying to trade for DeMarcus Cousins. Out of all these guys, it's a long shot, but I want LaMarcus Aldridge. He can shoot the mid-range jumper 10 for 10. He can rebound at least 13 a game sometimes. And most of all, he's a leader. He can get this team excited. He can be the new face of the franchise. He would just be so fun in Boston. The fans would love him. It's going to be tough as the Spurs, Mavs, Knicks, Lakers, and Blazers are all going really hard on him. And he is rumored to prefer the Mavs, Spurs, and Blazers as his top three. But I hope the Celtics can give him a nice pitch he can at least think about. And if he comes here, other free agents will come. The Celtics become a legit team. And I think the most realistic person is DeMarcus Cousins because of the trade. We're not going to be able to get free agents here. It's tough. We live in a cold city. And when you have the chance to go party in South Beach or hang out with Hollywood stars in LA, the Celtics and Boston don't have anything, but what they have is rings. They have banners. They can show you, we can win. You come here with one of the best coaches in the NBA, and we can turn you into our face of the franchise. You'll be loved, and you can win with us. None of these three players have won anything. Love has the chance, although now he is out for the playoffs, which is a huge blow to the Cavs. And that's why I don't think he will end up coming to Boston. I think he's going to just keep that image of taking him out for the playoffs for the offseason. If he was out for a game or two, I think he would come here. But now for the whole playoffs, he is not going to be happy, and I don't see him coming here. Finally, let's talk about Rondo. An ex-Celtic, he just doesn't look like their old Rondo. Now he's actually hurting teams more than he's helping them, in my opinion. And I just think he's going to go for the most money, which is either in Los Angeles or New York. And that's all we got for the basketball segment today and American sports news. But make sure to check out our special 2 edition videos. As you all know, this weekend is arguably the fight of the century with Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. I'm not going to analyze now. Make sure to check out our video with the crew talking about this fight and what it means for face of boxing and who's going to win. You don't know. And also, make sure to check out me and Robbie's special one-on-one game, just to show him that I'm better than him. All right, so that's all we got for American Sports News today. See you next time.